Imagine 5 brothers sharing one wife. In the remote hills of India, inside the Hatti tribe, this is not a rumor. It is a recognized marriage system. One woman sleeping with multiple brothers under one roof. But here's the part almost nobody outside the village understands. In the eyes of the state, there is only one official husband, the man listed as head of the household in village records. On paper, it's one man married to his beautiful woman. Inside the house, every brother calls her my wife. Today, I'm taking you inside this shocking Draupadi marriage, how a strict bedroom rotation decides which brother sleeps with her each night, how this one wife is used to protect family land and property. What happens to the children when no one can openly name which brother is the real father? And what young Hatti men and women are doing today, now that many no longer want to share a spouse. This is not a fantasy. It is still happening right now in modern India. But to understand how 5 brothers can share one woman and still keep it within the law, you first need to see the one structural trick that makes this entire system possible. In the Hatti Hills, the wedding day looks almost normal. There is one bride. There is one groom. The village gathers. Rituals are performed. The priest chants. On the surface, it is a simple union between one man and one woman. But that one man is usually the eldest brother. In government and revenue records, his name appears as the head of the family. He deals with officials. His name is tied to the house, the land, the taxes. If the state ever has to speak to a husband, it speaks to him. Yet inside the house, the reality is completely different. From the moment she crosses that threshold, the new bride knows she does not belong to just one man. She belongs to the entire brotherhood. She will cook for all of them. She will serve all of them. And over time, she will share the same bed with each one of them. One wife becomes the tool that keeps property from breaking apart and keeps the bloodline locked inside the same walls. The elders call this keeping the family united. On paper, it looks like one household led by one man. But behind that neat line in the records, there are 5 men in the bedroom, sharing the same wife. So how do these brothers actually decide whose turn it is to sleep with her, without the house exploding in jealousy and violence? That's where the secret bedroom rotation system begins. The one husband on paper is just the cover. The real system is written in the bedroom. In the Hatti Hills, everyone knows one rule. The wife does not choose. The brothers do not choose. The rotation chooses. 5 brothers, 5 turns, 1 wife. The order is fixed, from eldest to youngest, then back to the eldest again. If a brother is away, his night is not saved, not moved, not traded. His turn simply disappears. No one can ask for an extra night. No one can jump the queue. Desire is locked inside routine, a framework everyone is expected to respect. On the surface, it looks fair. Inside the house, it feels stable. The wife knows the pattern, moves with its rhythm. No brother can openly complain. No one can accuse her of choosing. Now picture yourself as the youngest. You grow up knowing your elder brothers are already sharing time with the woman who will one day also be called your wife. By the time it is finally your turn, she is not a new bride. She is already a shared woman. For the wife, the cost cuts even deeper. 5 tempers, 5 moods, 5 bodies in the same bed, 5 different versions of husband, all claiming the same space. She cannot show preference. She cannot openly fall in love with one more than the others. Even silence becomes a rule she has to obey. And still, in this carefully ordered system, the dangerous questions never die. What happens when affection shifts? When jealousy quietly grows between brothers? When a child is born, and everyone checks the calendar, remembering whose night it was? Because in the Hatti tribe, bedroom rotation does not just manage desire. It eventually crashes into something far more explosive: land, inheritance, and the battle over who truly owns the future. That is the moment when this one wife for 5 brothers system can turn the shared bride into the most powerful person in the entire house. Inside this one wife for 5 brothers system, something unexpected happens. The woman who is shared in the bedroom becomes the center of power in the house. In the Hatti tribe, everyone knows one truth. Food moves through her. Money moves through her. Respect moves through her. Every brother depends on the same woman for the same things: the meal on his plate, the child who might carry his name, the peace inside his own home. On paper, the eldest brother holds the formal authority. Inside the house, she holds the real authority. She knows every family secret. She sees who works, who drinks, who obeys, who quietly rebels. She knows whom she can influence and whom she must handle carefully. Her power is never loud. It is quiet and absolute. She decides whose plate is full, whose voice is heard, whose requests are granted, and whose are ignored. An outsider points to the eldest and says, "He is the head." But watch closely. Who ends the arguments? Who sends one brother to the fields and keeps another near the house? Who says, "Today is not the right time to talk about land, money, or marriage"? The brothers cannot fight openly for her, so they compete in silence. Softer tones, smaller arguments, anger held back. Because they know, fall out of favor with her, and you risk your place in the house, your influence, your future. In a culture where land and family name mean everything, this shared woman becomes the unofficial matriarch, emotional center, hidden judge, quiet ruler. In the Hatti tribe, the wife may be shared, but she is also sovereign. The pivot, the arbiter, the unseen force holding 5 brothers, 1 household, and an entire tradition together. And when questions of land and inheritance finally hit this house, every eye still turns to her. Inside the Hatti hills, the real god is not romance. It is land. One narrow, terraced field. One house clinging to the mountain. One family name carved into the soil. Now picture this land with 3 sons, or 5. If each married separately, the land would split. Fields become fragments. Houses become cramped rooms. Brothers become rivals. In a place where every inch of soil is precious, survival depends on keeping the land whole. So the elders created a different logic. 1 piece of land, 1 house, 1 wife. For all the brothers. Marriage here is not about knights or romance. It is about survival. The eldest may hold the legal title, but land, livestock, and inheritance move through the household as a single unit. Every decision, every dispute passes through the woman at the center. Ownership is not individual. It is collective. Families are measured by unity, continuity, and endurance on a harsh mountain slope. If a younger brother walks away, he leaves with nothing. No land, no house, just his clothes and a severed link to his ancestors. 1 wife means no dowry for multiple marriages, no division of fields into strips, no disputes over borders invisible from the valley. But this balance carries a dangerous price. The eldest controls the documents. The younger brothers provide the labor, and the wife holds the peace. If she favors one brother, another quietly becomes an outsider in his own home. And this is where the system begins to crack. When a tradition built on survival and scarce land is forced to face a world built on paperwork and law. Now step outside the village and into modern India. Here, the state writes the rules. Polyandry carries no legal recognition. The system sees 1 husband, 1 wife, 1 marriage. So in a 1 wife, 5 brothers house, the law chooses only 1 man to exist, the eldest brother. He appears on the marriage records. His name stays on the land documents. The other brothers? Legally. They exist only as relatives sharing a roof, and the wife's reality, shared between 5 men, officially does not exist. This gray zone is where protection collapses. If the eldest brother dies, the system asks, who is the widow? If she faces pressure, who carries responsibility? The other husbands don't register anywhere. Shared children can be dragged into inheritance battles the state has no framework for. Inside the mud house, she holds authority. Outside at the courthouse gate, she suddenly becomes vulnerable. No law acknowledges her private agreements with the younger brothers. No document records the nights, the labor, the promises. If conflict or abuse appears, whom does she turn to? To the same system that refuses to recognize 4 of her husbands? So the family survives on an unspoken deal. The state looks away from what happens inside, and the family keeps its secrets from outside. Even if an outsider tried to intervene, they would be caught in a web of ritual, consent, and blood loyalty. The law exists, but here it bends around a tradition older than any statute, a fragile balance of custom and silence. And this balance shatters the moment one question appears. A child, who one day will ask, whose son am I, in the eyes of the law? What happens when this system creates life? A child enters the Hatti Brotherhood. The mother knows which man visited her room that night. The brothers know who crossed the threshold. The village has its theories, but the state? The state recognizes only one man as husband. So who is this child's father? In official records, the eldest brother. In the courtyard, it could be any of the 5. In the child's mind, a shadow that never leaves. He grows up calling one man Bauji, and 4 others Chacha. Even when he feels a different pair of eyes watching him like a father. When he turns 16, the questions sharpen. Who really gave me this face? Who paid for my school fees? Whose land am I supposed to inherit? And then the question that cuts the deepest. Why do 4 men whisper son to me, but only one is allowed to claim me in front of the world? Inheritance law doesn't care about whispered truths. Courts don't recognize shared fatherhood. So this boy learns a brutal reality. Inside the house, he belongs to everyone. Outside, he belongs to no one. And when it is his turn to marry, he stands at the same cliff edge as his father and uncles. Repeat the cycle, or break the mountain. Today, more and more sons are choosing the second option. They leave for Shimla, Delhi, Dubai. They see one man, one woman, one flat. No shared beds, no shared wives, no shared fathers. They come back for festivals. Look at their mother, exhausted but powerful. Look at their uncles, aging in the same house. And they ask silently, is this sacrifice, or is this a prison? Some refuse polyandry outright. Some agree to marriage, but not to rotation. Some demand their own wife, their own roof, their own name on the documents. The elders see what this means. Without brothers sharing a wife, the land begins to crack into pieces. Without the pact, the old Hatti house becomes just another inheritance case on a crowded court file. And the woman who once held 5 men together now watches her sons walk away from the very system that made her queen. But here is the final shock. Even as the tradition collapses, even as modern love stories fill their phones, a few Hatti families still choose. 1 wife, 5 brothers, 1 shared life, not because they are forced to, but because they believe something dangerous, almost unforgivable to the modern mind, that love, power, and responsibility might be stronger when carried by many shoulders instead of 2. So next time you see 1 wife, 5 brothers on a thumbnail and feel disgust, pity, or curiosity, ask yourself, is this the most brutal marriage on earth? Or is it a mirror? Quietly asking how honest our own normal families really are. For more forbidden, shocking practices from hidden corners of the world, hit subscribe and step with me into the next secret. But remember, every forbidden tradition hides a truth. Hit subscribe and I'll reveal the next one.